Hey there again, neighbors. This part of the video is the financial report. Randy has done a great job the last several years of keeping the day in and day out financial business of the neighborhood going, paying the bills that need to be paid. And he also, around this time of year, each year, puts together the report for the previous year and then a budget for the next year. So I'm going off of Randy's work here, which is excellent and has made it very straightforward for me to understand what he's written and then pick up where he's left off as we move forward with hopefully myself as the treasurer. It is fairly self-explanatory, but we did want to address it just for the sake of openness and transparency and to highlight the major things out of the financial report. At the beginning of 2019, we had $5,400 in the bank. That's not the low point. We collect the dues in the spring, so it sank from $5,400 down to its low point in the spring, and then $9,600 of dues money came in. That's 16 lots at $600 a piece last year, and we have a glorious track record of dues payment. Every lot that's been eligible and assessed has paid in full every time. That is really, really wonderful because that can be a real thorn in the side of an HOA. So thank you, everybody, year in and year out, for your attention to the dues and just not making that a problem. We are exceedingly grateful, and we know how good we have it, all of us, in that regard. Now, we replenished with that $9,600 over the course of the year. The expenses came out to $93.50, so we had a net income for the year of $250, which is tax-free since we are a homeowners association. Now, the budget originally called for us to lose about $400, so there was a swing for the positive of about $650, and there's two reasons for that. First, mowing came in lower than expected, so we saved several $100s there. The other thing was that we set aside each year in the budget $1,000 in the grounds category for whatever comes up, because there's always something that comes up. And this year it wasn't in the grounds category, it was in the tax filing. The previous treasurer transition was rough for Randy. It was pretty smooth in general, but there was one glitch that got overlooked, and that was the filing of taxes. So Randy spent a lot of time this past year getting those taxes filed, but the state was none too thrilled about it, and they assessed us $250 a year for 4 years worth of violations. So that $1,000 that we'd set aside to pay for something in the grounds ended up going to the state of Indiana. Now we know, won't happen again. So that's how we ended up with coming out $650 ahead in spite of the goofiness with the tax. Now, going forward, Randy took those 2019 numbers and made his best guess projection what it was going to be for 2020. So we bumped the mowing back up to where we expected it to be based on standard rainfall patterns. And we kept the $1,000 in there for the miscellaneous whatever from the ground. Hopefully it won't be going to taxes this year for sure. Looking at his numbers, we're going to break even just about exactly, plus or minus $50, if we keep the dues at $600. That was the way he built the budget. It looks good to me. I'll give everybody the opportunity for feedback on that, of course. We could go to $650 if we wanted to be building our reserves. Right now, this is the very low point of the year. We've got about $1,600 in the bank, and that's because it's been a year or a little more actually since dues came in. So we'll be sending out the dues invoices shortly. If we can get them handled sooner rather than later, that would be really great, just so that we can be replenishing quicker and not drag this out into the summer. We usually have the meeting in the March-April timeframe. It's when we set this meeting, it was before the virus, and it was just spring break patterns, and late April was what worked. It could be in any part of March or April next year, so don't think it's always going to be this late in the spring, but this year it is. So if we can get the dues handled, that would be great. As we talked about earlier, if we have major expenses over the course of the year, and inevitably we will, we have determined as a group that we want to do those by assessment rather than try to build up a reserve between now and then. So we keep the dues as low as we can to get the job done, but then if something crazy happens, we'll have to deal with that when it comes up. So don't be shocked if and when that happens, but that's the situation that we've chosen to put ourselves in on purpose. Any questions, by all means, get in touch with me or Randy or Terry, and we are happy, as always, to talk about whatever's going on in the HOA, especially as it relates to our money, which we want to be incredibly transparent and faithful with. Thanks so much, you guys.